Going on, everyone? I had an interesting service call this week that I wanted to share. First of all, it's my K2 backup channel. I post stuff over here that non-news related. Might get back to doing the news on the main channel at some point. Anyway, I don't know. This week though, I had this crazy. I'm like, okay, this guy called me, says, okay, they've been in this. It's a meat processing place. They make custom cuts of meat and whatnot. They say they've been in this place for like a month, and like 2 weeks ago they got this new meat slicer and it was working good for a week, and then it stopped working all of a sudden. And it was a brand new machine. It was sold and serviced locally. The guys who sold it to him assured him that everything was tested before it left the house, and then they came and set it up and everything was working. They assured him it couldn't be their machine. It must be the power coming to the machine. Okay, so I made clear to the customer, I'll come out and I'll ensure that it has full power. If there's something wrong with the power supply going to the machine, that's on me. But if it's the machine itself, you'll have to get with the manufacturer. It's a new machine. It's under warranty and whatnot. He said, "No, that's sure it's in the plug. It's something to do with it." Okay. I wasn't aware at the time that it was a 3-phase machine. I get out there. It's a 3-phase meat slicing machine, 3-phase locking outlet, 3-phase breaker. So, of course, first thing we do, okay, no power. Try all the switches and everything. Okay, great. Had full power at the outlet, all 3 legs, 120 volts times 3. Ground, good. I think the machine called for 3-phase power, no neutral, but ground. So that's the way that the outlet was installed. Whoever installed, I don't know if the outlet was installed before or after. I didn't ask them that. The outlet was just there. The breaker was just there. So I go to the panel. I take the panel cover off. This is what I find. And I'll tell you up front, what it turned out to be was a bad control board inside the unit. But I'm going to show you what I think caused this bad control board. I don't know that I should. I didn't tell the customer this. I'm not sure because it'll probably void his warranty. I don't want to get him in trouble with the people who made the machine. I just kind of. But I did show him the repairs that I made. Check out what I found. You tell me if you think this would make a 3-phase control board go bad. I just took the panel cover off. I noticed that the breaker was loose a little bit as the cover was on. I'm turning it off, and I'm like, all right, well, let's see what's going on with this circuit. Now watch what I find here. Look at this beauty I'm working on today. It's a 3-phase. I did not do that. Yeah, I didn't do that arc up there. That's how it was when I opened it. Somebody, an installer, whoever put this panel in.
Meat slicer, 3-phase.
Look at this. Watch.
It looks like
all 3 of those screws are loose. Just those 3. Everything else is tight. And I'm sorry, I was holding my phone the wrong way. It's up and down. I didn't notice this. I wasn't going to make a video out of this job. And I'm like, as soon as I opened this and saw this breaker, I'm like, grab the phone and make a video. I didn't even notice I was holding it the wrong way. So I do apologize for it's not in the right ratio, whatever. But yeah, all 3 of these, I don't know why they would be loose. I did not loosen them. I just took the panel cover off. This is what I find. So I'm guessing right off the bat, I'm thinking, okay, well, this is loose. I had power on all 3 of these at the outlet, but when you apply power to the machine, when any sort of amperage is drawn, obviously these connections aren't going to be any good. You could still have voltage there when you're not drawing any amperage, but as soon as you put a charge on it, so let's just get into this.
All 3 of those screws are loose.
I'm thinking, all right, this is an easy job. It's just a loose circuit breaker. That's all it is. That's all it is. I don't know why, but there it is. Put some gloves on, tighten this bitch up.
The panel cover off.
This is, and we call it a day. That's definitely not good.
That's definitely a problem. We're going to tighten that up and see if the meat slicer.
Yeah.
Right now it has no power. It's showing me power on all 3 legs.
Yeah, when you put load on it.
You go to put amperage on it, and I'm guessing the connection's not negative. I'm going to tighten that up and see what we got. Yeah, I got all 3 of those nice and tight. Put some gloves on too, because I do not like 3-phase.
Yeah, I don't like working on a 3-phase panel myself.
I'll start the camera. Here's my number 2.
Should have had my gloves on before I took that panel cover off. Honestly.
This is from Harbor Freight.
The Doyle tools from Harbor Freight are great.
Electrical screwdrivers.
The Doyle
are great.
They are.
By the way.
They are nice. I've had them for a while.
Your screwdriver doesn't have to say Fluke on the side of it.
Yeah, the Fluke equivalent is like 10 times the price. They are nice. You get like all 3 of them. I think I got them for $12 or something like that. The number 2 combo, number 2 Phillips in flat. Okay, so I walk back to the machine. I'm thinking, okay, I got it licked. I got it unplugged, of course. So I got the breaker off right now. We're gonna go back and plug it in. This is the actual machine. The outlet was already hanging out of the
Did
wall.
not take out of the wall.
I don't know
It was already hanging on the wall.
if the customer did that, or I didn't ask him. It was just, this is how I found it. 3-phase locking outlet, 3 hots and a ground.
Lock my plug, 3-phase locking plug.
Plug that in, because I'm not about to do that hot. I'm also not ready to stick it back in the wall yet, because I don't know if I have further.
I have no idea as to why that breaker would have been loose like that, but I'm almost guaranteeing that's our problem. Okay, we're gonna
May have caused the
throw
problem.
that on.
Definitely could. You're making and breaking contact with the control board. It could definitely cause it to
Said
short
they only
out.
been in this location for a month.
Cause transistors, capacitors, and
It was working
diodes do
fine
all
until
kinds of
a couple
weird
days
shit.
ago. Okay,
You got a lockout
Does have
switch
a-
on the back.
lockout switch here.
You can lock it out so no one can turn it on.
That's engaged.
So that's on. It's got an emergency button that I just have to turn it off and on every time. Who sees an emergency button and doesn't push it? Come on,
See if we got it.
gotta push it.
Take this glove off.
These are actually low voltage switches. I didn't know this until the end. I actually got the manufacturer on the phone
See
and talked to him. He said there's a control board inside the machine. They did not want me opening their machine. And I told my customer I was very upfront about it. I said, I am not going to, if this machine's under warranty, I'll do everything I can up to the point of voiding your warranty. I'll make sure it has power. I'll make sure the outlet's good, the plug, everything. But if you want this machine open, you'd be better off calling. He said, oh yeah, they said if there's a problem with the machine, they'll come out. And so they did that the next day, and they found a bad control board inside. The emergency switch and the on-off buttons are low voltage. They tell the control board when to stop and start the
Oh
power.
shit.
This master switch is a 3-phase hardwired switch on the primary as it goes into the machine. And I'm checking my voltage at the outlet.
Take a reading with it hooked up.
I got it hooked up. I get 120, 120, 120.
So, phase 1, 123. Phase 2, 124. Phase 3.
So that'll be 360, 363 phase.
Unhook it.
Ground is good because I'm getting good neutral, getting good ground on, getting good reading on all my
You
hots.
could get bleed over
So
inside that machine. A disconnected outlet.
yeah, pull the plug out with it turning the power up. That's kind of dangerous. Screw it. My clip came off. Those clips, I think I got at either Home Depot or Lowe's. Those meter, universal meter leads with the alligator clips. They're pretty good. They fit the meter just like the originals. They're longer, and I love the alligator clips. Cannot have a meter without being able to clip. So I got full power on all 3 legs.
I already checked the plug wires.
But watch what I find next. Watch this.
That's all good.
I did take the plug apart. The three
My 3-phase.
screws on the plug, just basic
Plug's locked.
locking plug comes apart. So I did take that apart. I think I filmed that.
Lockout switch.
Off, on.
Emergency
Off, on.
switch. Off, on. Master switch. Nothing. It's the machine, man. It's got to be. I got full power coming out of that wall now. Well, that breaker was very loose, though.
But watch what I find next. This is interesting.
Check to make sure I got power on all 3 phases, and I just come across something else.
Look at this.
Check this out. You know this is the line we're working on.
You tell me.
First
Is
of all,
that?
there's no box
Yeah,
connector
there's no
there.
whoever ran that. There's no box
Look at that.
connector there.
Second
I
of
don't
all,
like
look
that
at
at
the
all.
ground.
Look at this ground wire. This ground
you can
wire was
tell.
pulling current.
The ground is burned.
It's burned.
Look
Check
at
that out.
ground.
I wouldn't have even thought to look
Is
at
it burnt
that.
to you?
Because it's not, that neutral's not burned, by the way. The one that's coming down is just,
If that ground is
Like
supplying
soot.
some sort of a neutral
I wiped that off and the wire's
to
fine.
any part of that machine, and it's loose, it is very loose here.
It is loose.
It starts arcing.
Now,
The control voltage may be 120 volts at the switches.
it is normal for some machine manufacturers, although it's not proper. It's not, codes vary depending on where you're working. I have seen it, though, where a 3-phase control board or 240 volt control board machine that does not call for a neutral but does call for a ground will use the ground as a return path for a very low amperage draw control board, like 500 milliamps or less. Not supposed to do that, but I've seen it happen many times, so I'm guessing that's what's going on with this machine. I don't know. But whatever is using that neutral as a return is obviously drawing way too much current. I don't know if the machine, if the control board was faulty. I mean, I didn't ask them too many questions. They just said the control board was bad. But this right here is definitely signs that major current is being sent back to the panel on the ground wire. To have it burn like that, to have it loose, I mean, you can tell it's been arcing for a while. So that could definitely be another problem. That's a second problem.
There it is.
So,
look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that black. Oh my God.
Now the machine does not call for a neutral. I looked at the paperwork. I talked to the guy on the phone. He said hot ground. So, because if that machine is pulling that kind of power on a neutral side, it should be a insulated wire.
Check the manufacturer specs. It's got the right outlet that it calls for that machine.
It does.
So I cut our burnt piece out. Right here somewhere. And I reattached that. Nice and strong. It was loose, and you can definitely tell it was arcing. See that darkness?
That's right. I moved it up. That's right where it is. And that neutral wire is okay. I did run my finger across it to make sure the
Electrically, it
jacket
should
was
not
not
be pulling
damaged.
current through that ground wire.
I would have cut that redundant.
But that's a machine specification problem because the specs on the machine call for 3 hots and a ground, not 3 hots and a neutral. Okay. We can make sure our master is on.
Emergency button, of course.
Reset.
Can't not push
I'm
the
guessing
emergency
we're
button.
at power now.
Watch this, watch this. I'm like, what?
Yeah, clear.
Clear.
Oh shit.
I'm like,
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
but I fixed the breaker and the neutral which were both obvious problems.
I wonder if we lost our ground on the...
So now I'm thinking, see, process of elimination, troubleshooting
That's not
101.
a main breaker, that's a main lug panel, so...
Yeah, this is not a main breaker panel. This is a main lug panel, which means that the ground and the neutral are not bonded in the box. So if we lost our actual equipment ground to the box,
It's not...
and we're not getting control voltage on that neutral set, so this is just electrical troubleshooting 101 process. Okay, what else could it be? Maybe
ground and our neutral is
if
not
that control
bonded
board
here.
does need that neutral for power,
see
and we
voltage
lost the ground, which is highly
between ground
unlikely.
and neutral.
But you do your continuity test. You do your voltage test. You'll see voltage between ground and neutral.
Hold the phone to do this.
If you've lost ground, but have not lost
Got a good
neutral,
ground
you'll see a differential. You'll see
Watch
differential voltage there.
Neutral is right here.
Got nothing.
I'm reading 0. Let's do a
So
continuity test.
continuity test, because even though they're not bonded in the panel, they are bonded. Ground is always bonded to neutral. In this case, it's just bonded outside at the main. But you should get perfect continuity between them if
Ground still.
they're both intact. And I do.
We do.
So what
Okay,
can it
what
be
the
now?
hell's going on here?
So now I verified.
So
I fixed the circuit breaker problem and I fixed the ground problem.
Ground.
If that ground is even needed for control voltage, I don't know. Because
Chintzy ground. Whoever did this panel, man.
this is kind of
Oh, you know what? I'm such a dumbass. I guess
I did
it
have
helps
the
if I
breaker
turn the
off,
damn breaker back on
but
before we test
I turned
it.
the breaker on and I tested it again, and I still have nothing.
Simple shit like that. Hey, it happens to everybody.
I'm gonna leave that in the
this in the
video.
video just because it's funny. Got to turn on goddamn breaker. What's the matter with you?
Sometimes
Alright,
I
sounds
forgot to turn it on. Like, well, you turn
Of
the
course I ain't
power on.
working, moron.
Remember the end of Ocean's 11 when they were blowing the elevator? Like, did you check the
I
battery?
reset all switches
Okay.
because I have OCD and that's the way I do things. Off,
On.
on, plug is locked in.
Emergency, of course. Pop, pop. You push it in, switch it out, get the green. Ow.
What? Are you fucking kidding me?
Who doesn't get frustrated at this point? What you got? There was no customer in the room with me, so I'm talking to myself.
Fucking cursed.
He's up front in the... There's only one guy working there. I love working by myself, by the way. So at this point, because I know I've checked everything I could check, right? I'm just like, okay, I checked it's got full power. I got to go back to the customer and say, hey, you need to call the manufacturer. And I did get the manufacturer on the phone. He went through some stuff with me. Okay, turn the master switch off and on, push in the emergency button, pull it out, stuff I've already done. But they want to talk to the electrician before they send their crew out, because they are most likely going to have to reimburse the customer for my charge. Because I still went out there and I could prove to you that I fixed 2 problems that very well may have caused the control board to burn up. Especially if you got arcing and stuff going, you constantly.
Everything's nice. Did have a loose breaker and we had this burned.
I showed it to him. I said, there you go. It's definitely a problem.
Don't have.
Could have been the problem that caused the problem that you have now.
Put my outlet back in. I verified there is power coming out of all the reports.
I checked all this. Good locking outlet. Everything's tight.
Make sure all those connections are tight. So I'm up to the internals of the machine. And I do not work on the internals of a meat machine or any machine. I can verify it has 100% power. Reset. Off. It seems like these buttons should click, don't you think?
Yeah. That's why I got the manufacturer on the phone, and because he's like, okay, well, they're gonna set up a service call.
The people who was responsible for the warranty of the machine, they don't want me to touch it any further.
Yeah.
I've done everything I can do. It has full power. There were some issues in the panel that we corrected. And I got nothing. He did say there's a relay and a contactor back there, which they're going to come out tomorrow and look at that. That's not my problem.
Yeah, I've done. Like I said, they came out and determined that there's just a little control board in there that takes the 3-phase stuff and relays it to the motor through the low voltage switches that go up to the front and the emergency button. And that's the I don't know if it was he just said bad bad logic board or something like that. Bad control board. So, in your opinion, do you think, a fault? First of all, if that ground was pulling that kind of power, I didn't get into that with them, because that's their machine has the wiring that the specs call for. That's all I'm concerned with. But I don't know, the loose circuit breaker, that had to be, because he said it was working for a week. It worked for a week like that, which I find hard to believe, as loose as those. Because that's how I found it. So there could have been some arcing going on that whole time, that ultimately the board just got upset with seeing this voltage coming and going and decided to crap out. And anyway, bad control board. Just an interesting service call I worked this week. I wanted to share it with you. You never know. It could be this, it could be that, it could be this and that caused another problem, which is what it was. You guys take care, stay safe. If you like these videos, let me know. Maybe I'll make more of them. I do this kind of stuff every day. It's very rare that I make a video. Usually I'm in and out. Usually that just would have been the loose circuit breaker. Boom, done, out of here. No problem. But I don't know. Sometimes you never know how it's going to work out. You guys take care. I'll see you on the next one.